There is no red, white, or blue in this country. The only color that matters is green because we live in the United Corporations of America.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? Placone here, reporting for Status Coup. Filling in today. Happy Friday. Good to see everybody. Smash the like button. We have a wild show for you today. I can't see all the chat because of the new software we use, but I'll respond to. First of all, shout out to Denise, who did not have jury duty today. Solid job. Real quick, I'll let everyone know my jury duty trick. If you ever get called to jury duty and you don't want to do it, show up in a kilt. That's the trick. Show up in a kilt. They will not pick you. I don't know how that helps. Yeah, well, yeah, women can wear kilts too, right? I mean, like, why not? Just wear a kilt. Wear a kilt, Braveheart style, and they won't pick you. Someone taught me that trick a long time ago. Anyway, smash the like button. Good to see everyone. What's up, NP? What's up, Crash Nova? What's up, Chris Garrett? What's up, Henry? What's up, Denise? Free of jury duty. We got a packed show for you today. First of all, we're going to be talking about the economic blackout that's going on today. I am participating. You are participating. Yeah, we're going to go through that and kind of talk some theory about all that. It's happening right now throughout the day today on Friday, what that means. I know different people have different takes on it, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Jeff Bezos making the Washington Post arguably even worse than it already is. Democracy's dying in darkness. They're going to do everything they can to help. And Luigi Mangione doesn't want so many photos. We're gonna look into that. That's gonna be that's gonna be interesting. And our main story today. Our main story today was the blow up between Trump and Zelensky. So we're gonna start there. So Zelensky was at the White House, and him and Donald Trump didn't go that great. It was not a cordial meeting. We're gonna watch the whole thing. We're gonna watch the whole main segment that's been the topic of discussion today in the news. By the way, the date is February 28th, last day of February, in the year of our Lord 2025. And I'm Ron Placone. For anyone just tuning in, I'm Ron Placone, hanging out today, filling in for Jordan Cheriton, and happy to be here. It's good to see everybody. In honor of the Economic Blackout Day, by the way, I'm wearing a Talking Heads t-shirt that I got at a rock and roll flea market last weekend. But let's kick in here. So we're going to start with Trump and Zelensky. Now, I'm going to set this up by saying we live in a world where people really want there to be a good guy and a bad guy. And I hate to break it to you, and this is not a popular place to be, y'all, but it's the freaking truth. And I know that if you're watching shows like this, you know that this is the truth, but I'm going to say it anyway. Sometimes there are no good guys. And this is a prime situation where there really are no good guys. Zelensky's not a good guy. Putin's not a good guy. Trump's not a good guy. There's no good guys in this situation. And throughout this entire conflict, there have not been any good guys. And I know that the war propaganda that we're fed here is that, well, Ukraine's totally the good guys, right? Because Putin's a bad guy. So Ukraine must be the good guys. Well, no, not really, because the United States has been antagonizing Russia for a long time, using Ukraine as a pawn, and there's neo-Nazi militias. It's not quite that simple. Yeah, but Putin's a bad guy, so Zelensky must be a good guy, right? No, we just explained why that's not the case. Oh, well, then if Zelensky's a bad guy, Putin must be a good guy, right? No, not really. Putin is a bully. Putin is a thug. And even though it was way more complicated than Putin just deciding to invade, it still doesn't justify what he did. There's no good guys here. Well, are the United States the good guy then? No, absolutely not. We're instigating the whole frickin' thing. We're supplying this endless supply of weapons, and it's a totally unwinnable situation. It's a frickin' mess. You know who the good guys are? If you're looking for good guys, I'll tell you who the good guys are. The good guys are people in Russia who are protesting what's going on, and they're risking getting arrested for doing so. The good guys are the people in Ukraine who are trying to live their lives and trying to support each other, and they're going around doing mutual aid for each other because they're in a war-torn country right now. You want a great documentary about that? Johnny F. made one. Johnny Farina here at Status Coup, he was over there, and he made an amazing documentary. I highly recommend it. You can watch it on YouTube. But let's get to what happened today between Trump and Zelensky. Let's get to that video.
For 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now the President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count one.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly
Remember
what
this.
you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards.
I'm not playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
Yeah,
you're playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? this entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country is in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No, you've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this.
Wow. Sheesh. Wow. That is amazing. That you're not winning this. Look, first of all, couple observations. All that crinkling you heard, all that ruffling, that like shitty audio, that's not us. That's their actual feed. Because I've watched it on multiple different devices just out of curiosity. That's not us here at Status Coup. So they're like CNN, and they have, first of all, the shot of JD Vance showed the top of a dude's head. Did you guys notice that? There was a top of a dude's head. And it was just JD Vance. It was JD Vance talking, and then the top of the dude's. I don't know who the dude was, but if you call it, can we go back and show people that real quick, and then let's watch the rest of it. But if you go back to where JD Vance is speaking, there's just the top of some. There it is. There's just some dude's head. It's just a dude's head. I mean, what the hell? I'm just pointing out they have all the money in the freaking world, and this is like it's crappy audio and just the top of some dude's freaking. And this is a metaphor for where our country is at, by the way. Just the top of some dude's head, and just three repulsive world leaders arguing. That's all this is. That is all this is. And by the way, if you found yourself rooting for anybody in this discussion, you're wrong. You're wrong if you are rooting for anybody in this entire discussion. Now, what JD Vance said at the beginning is actually very true. It's actually very true that this is a terrible situation. It needs to end. That they need a diplomatic solution. What he said that's not true is that the United States spreads diplomacy around the when does that happen? When has that ever happened? When does the United States show strength through diplomacy? That has never happened. Or well, at least not for generations. I mean, if we really wanted diplomacy, we could have gotten that right away. We could have gotten that right away. We could have instead we pumped Ukraine with weapons and 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 kept this conflict going, kept this war going. It's a totally unwinnable situation. And now you just have. And by the way, this isn't about Donald Trump not wanting more casualties or wanting peace. This is about Donald Trump just wanting his way on the international stage. And this is about Donald Trump just wanting to claim some kind of victory here. And this is also about ego. This is about Donald Trump and JD Vance just wanting Zelensky to kiss their ass. If he would have went on there and just kissed their ass, it probably would have been a different response. And then Zelensky, just wants to keep going with this thing. He just wants to keep going with the war. So there's nobody to root for here. There's nobody to root for. So let's keep watching. I know there's some more of this. Let's watch the
Pennsylvania and campaign for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Top of the head.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war,
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country is in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No, you've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this. you have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave, but they had to use our military.
Yes. What about
if you didn't have our military equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of
except
times
that
thank
there,
you
except
to
that,
American people.
except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on
I
over
understand,
there.
sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
that
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
But this
That
is
was
your-
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
Yikes. Yikes. Wow. That was horrible. You should be sitting here going, oh my God, these are the people in charge. These are people in charge of countries. These are people in charge of countries. Man, wow. That's so what is Trump implying, by the way? Is it if you say thank you, we'll give you more bobs? Well, you got to say thank you. With us, you have the cards. That was what he said. With us, you have the cards. First, JD Vance is talking about diplomacy, which, I mean, if I believed a word of it was sincere, I'd be all about it. But then it went, well, with us, you have the cards. You better say thank you, because with us, you have the cards. I mean, how do you interpret that? I mean, to me, that just sounds like, well, if you kiss my ass, we'll keep this war going. If you don't, though, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I will say, when he said, oh, we're alone, I kind of felt like, oh, you got all that money from the United States, dude. You got all that money. And by the way, our war machine is the reason we don't have things domestically. We have an economy of war in the United States. All of our money goes to defense. We spend less on education. We spend less on all social services. The amount we spend on the arts is a freaking joke. We spend less than 10% of most other countries. We spend about 10% on the arts, compared to the UK or other EU countries or Nordic countries. And by the way, even that 10% number is misleading, because guess where most of that 10% goes? The military. So we don't have all these other things that other industrialized countries have, because we just spend it all on endless war. And these are the types of people you have in charge. People like Donald Trump, who, by the way, like, I don't believe for a second he genuinely wants to end this conflict. I just think he's looking out for himself. I just think he wants to get his ass kissed, excuse me.
And here's a quick update Jordan just sent.
Trump is considering ending all ongoing military aid to Ukraine after today. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with that because, we'll see. I mean, he would probably need to get congressional support with that. And you have a pretty pro-war Congress. You have a very pro-war Congress. So that could be he might try to go the executive order route. We'll see what type of pushback he gets on that. I know he can't just declare war. So he probably can't just end something like that. I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting how he tries to go about that and if he succeeds. But there's a good chance he wouldn't have the Congress behind. I mean, that's the one time you could really count on bipartisanship is when it comes to war. When it comes to war, you're going to get Democrats and Republicans on board with each other. So even if Trump, and by the way, I want to see this conflict end. I want to see a ceasefire happen. I don't care if it's all because of Trump's ego. I just want to see it happen. But I don't have much confidence it's going to. I really do not have much confidence it's going to. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. We got some more material to go through here. So let's go to that Mediaite article, Colin. Trump cast Putin as a victim. So that's another layer to this. Trump cast Putin as a victim and furious screed to Zelensky. He went through a hell of a lot with me. So Donald Trump explained his sympathy for Vladimir Putin in curious detail during an Oval Office meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky on Friday. At the end of a stunning 11-minute exchange, a reporter asked President Trump what he would do if Putin were to break a ceasefire agreement. What if anything? Trump openly mocked the entirely reasonable question. What if the bomb drops on your head right now? Okay, what if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. He makes it out like that's such an unreasonable question. Well, gee, it's almost like maybe ceasefires have been broken before, Trump, on your watch, no less. I mean, look, when Donald Trump's saying that Biden was terrible on foreign policy, he's 110% right. Biden was absolutely atrocious on foreign policy. So was Obama. So was Bush. And guess what? So was Trump. I know that people love to pretend that that's not the case, but Trump dropped a ton of bombs in his first 4 years. He wasn't called presidential until he bombed Syria. He wanted his war with Iran. He didn't get it because of the pandemic. So, no, your boy Trump is not some non-interventionist. So then, according to this media IP, Trump then pivoted to showing bizarre empathy for the Russian dictator because of domestic political scandal surrounding his election. He made it about him. Wow. He made it about him. Which he often derided as the Russian collusion hoax. Despite a blah, blah, blah. We're not going to revisit Russiagate. Holy shit. We're not going to revisit that. That was just a massive waste of time for years. Out of all the millions of things to criticize Donald Trump for, they picked that for 4 frickin' years. And, but now the big bullet point right now, Trump decided to make this about him. He feels bad for Putin because Putin had to go through the Russiagate saga, which by the way, Putin's reaction to Russiagate was probably just laughter. It didn't really affect him in any way whatsoever. Wow. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me, Trump said, as if he was recalling war stories. Oh, man. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. You ever hear that deal? That was phony. You know what's sad is that he could have said, look, our foreign policy helped get us to this point because we've antagonized Russia with this for years and years and years. That doesn't justify what Putin did. Putin frickin' snapped. He had no right doing what he did. Again, there's no good guys here. Putin's not a good guy. Zelensky's not a good guy. Trump certainly is not a good guy. But Trump could have actually had a good statement there and been like, you know what? there's a little more to this. What we've been doing is wrong. We got to stop that. Instead, he goes, he's been through a lot with the Russiagate thing. Russiagate, think about what that did to poor Putin. It probably hurt his feelings at least once or twice. Let's go to Trump's statement on Truth Social, which in other news, Truth Social is still around. I thought we were done with Truth Social. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was over because Trump's back on Twitter now, which I will always call it Twitter, by the way. And I am still on that dumpster fire. It's pretty terrible, but I'm still there. It still has some value, I think. But yeah. All right. So let's read this statement from Donald Trump on Truth Social. A place that most Americans aren't even on. Most Americans, you realize like less than 20% of the country is on Twitter. And it's probably even less than that now. And I'd imagine there's even less or maybe a comparable number on Truth Social. Yet he makes these statements. I mean, it really is a wild time we're living through. A statement from Donald Trump. We had a very meaningful meeting in the White House today where we all just kind of yelled at each other. And there was at the top of some dude's head. Much was learned that could never be understood without conversation under such fire and pressure. It's amazing what comes out through emotion. He just yelled at the guy. And I've determined that President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America's involved because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage. I want peace. He disrespected the United States of America in his cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he is ready for peace. You know what? If you want peace, that's fantastic. Use your influence to get peace. And do it via the proper mechanisms. We got in this mess. So the way to get out is to get Zelensky and Putin at the table and say, we need a frickin' ceasefire and it needs to be sincere. And this is what's happening. If he truly wants peace, Trump can make this happen. Trump can make this happen. So Trump can cause peace here if he wants to. We'll see if he actually wants that. I wouldn't hold my breath for it. I really wouldn't. Let's see. After the contentions played out, Zelensky went into a separate room. Here, let's go to this. Let's go to the Shelby Talcott status that talks about what went down here. So here's an insider. Here's an insider tweet on some of the stuff that went down. After the contentious Oval Office meeting that played out in front of reporters, Zelensky and the Ukrainians went into a separate room while Trump huddled with his advisors. At that joint, Trump decided that he didn't feel Zelensky was ready to negotiate and that conversations wouldn't be productive. Trump posted a statement on Truth Social that, oh man, that's how it went down. Oh, okay. So Trump posted a statement on Truth Social. Then Rubio and Waltz then informed Zelensky that he was being asked to leave and the negotiations were over for the day. Man, that is some mafia-esque stuff. That is some mafia-esque stuff right there. He just set them, he goes tell him we're not talking anymore. Go tell him we're done. Tell him his bag better not be light next time. Wow. Man. Okay. So that's what went down. These are the people that we got to rely on. Not rely on, but these are the people that World War III is in their hands. World War III is in their freaking hands. Oh, man. There's another tweet. Let's go to that other tweet. There's another tweet. The White House official added that this was not planned in advance or part of a broader strategy, but simply just how the day planned out. I would hope that it wasn't planned in advance. I mean, don't you also hope that it wasn't planned in advance? It wasn't planned in advance that we were just going to yell at each other. We're just going to yell at each other. And then at the end, I was going to imply that, hey, if you're nice to me, I'll give you the cards. What do you guys think cards was a metaphor for? Do you think cards was a metaphor for a peace negotiation? If you say thank you, I'll give you the cards. It's a game of cards to Donald Trump. It's a game of cards. People are dying. People in Ukraine are dying. People in Russia are dying. And you have people across those countries, and you never hear about that. You never, ever hear about what the people in Ukraine are going through on a daily basis. You don't hear about that. You don't hear about the mutual aid efforts that they got going on in that country, which, by the way, I know I mentioned it early, but I'll mention it again for anyone that tuned in later. Johnny F. did an amazing documentary about what's going on the ground in Ukraine and the people over there and what they're going through and what they have to deal with pretty much every day because of this. You never hear about the people in Russia who are protesting what's going on because they just want peace. They just want a peace deal. They just want the conflict to stop. And they're risking, they might get arrested for going out there protesting. And they do it anyway. You don't hear about them. You don't hear about the actual good guys, because those are the good guys. Those are the good guys. The good guys aren't limited to a country. It's a freaking mess, y'all. It is a freaking mess. Let's go to this NBC piece. So the State Department terminates U.S. support of Ukraine energy grid restoration. The U.S. aid initiative had invested hundreds of millions of dollars in helping Ukraine's energy grid recover from attacks from Russia. Now, what I want to see is I just want to see like the weapons stop so that the war stops. The State Department this week terminated a U.S. agency for international development initiative that had invested hundreds of millions of dollars to help restrain Ukraine's energy grid from attacks by the Russian military. Power outages have been applied overnight in some regions of Ukraine due to attacks on energy facilities. It's been a near constant impact. It significantly undercuts this administration's abilities to negotiate on the ceasefire, and it signaled to Russia that we don't care about Ukraine or our past investments, one U.S. aid official involved in the Ukraine mission told NBC News. The official continued, Russia is fighting a two-pronged war in Ukraine, a military one, but also an economic one. They're trying to crash the economy, but U.S. aid has played a central role in helping it be resilient, shoring up the energy grid. We provided a vast amount of support to the Ukrainian government to avoid a macroeconomic crisis. We've provided a vast amount of money and weapons to continue this ongoing conflict that needs to frickin' end. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. And that's what needs to end. And they're not going about it the right way. The right way to go about it is to get all parties to the table and reach a ceasefire deal and reach a peace agreement. And that's what needs to happen. And guess what? The United States has all the power of the world to make that happen. What's not going to lead to that is just yelling at these press conferences, telling the guy to say thank you, just throwing your weight around, just being some bully. That's not gonna lead to peace. What's not gonna lead to peace is just being like, oh, well, we're not gonna help, so people will just have power outages. What is gonna lead to peace is saying, hey, this needs to end. We need a peace deal now. That's what he said. So if Trump's sincere, you know what? It's really easy to post something on Truth Social that nobody's going to see. It's really easy to post something on Truth Social and then have send someone else out to dismiss Zelensky. That's easy. What's not easy would be actually getting all parties to the table, Putin, Zelensky, the United States, and saying this needs to end. And you know what? If Trump did that, it'd be incredibly popular. It'd be incredibly popular if Trump did that. It would have been incredibly popular if Biden would have done it. Of course, he had no interest in doing that. And I don't think Trump does either. I hope he proves me wrong, but I won't hold my breath. I won't hold my breath. Let's see what else is on this topic here. So Jordan mentions, Jordan Cheriton, can you imagine the reaction from Fox News or Republicans if Obama or Biden ever publicly dressed down a world leader like Trump did? They would be calling for immediate impeachment. Yeah, probably. I mean, probably. Imagine if Bernie was president and he ever had like a conflict with any international leader like that. Imagine if that happened. They would be, they have problems with the way Bernie sits in a chair. They had problems with the way Bernie wasn't enthusiastic enough sitting. Remember when that happened during Biden's inauguration? Bernie wasn't enthusiastic enough the way he was sitting in a chair in the middle of winter. Guy's almost 80 years old. He's over 80 now. At the time, I think he was 79 back then. So nearly 80-year-old guy in 2020 sitting out in the cold. And they're just going, he's not happy enough. It's amazing. Imagine if Bernie had the entire media apparatus, because, the right-wing media hates Bernie Sanders, and the DNC apparatus hates him even more. So yeah, imagine if that happened to Bernie. It'd be remarkable. But yeah, Trump does stuff like that all the time. No one says a thing. I mean, remember he was at that one summit where he just shoved somebody out of the way. He is just a meathead all grown up. He is just a bro meathead who's just a bully who never frickin' grow up. They throw their weight around. You see people that do that. Now, usually most human beings outgrow that after high school, and they're embarrassed by it. They go, yeah, I remember in high school when I would tell people to get out of my chair, and I would just sort of nudge people, give them one of these because I'm so tough. That was never me, by the way. I was never that guy in high school. I couldn't have been if I wanted to be, just so we're clear. But, people behave that way. And then they look back on it with a bit. They're like, well, I was a jerk back then. And you know what happened? I fucking grew up. I grew up. But Donald Trump never grew up. He never grew up. JD Vance never grew up. And JD Vance, by the way, what a freaking sycophant bootlicker that guy is. Keep in mind, in 2016, JD Vance said no one should support Donald Trump. He was super anti-Trump, apparently. And now he's going, say thank you. Say thank you to Donald Trump. Why aren't you saying thank you? Say thank you. Unreal. All right. So there you go. I mean, it's a mess what's going on. The conflict needs to end. We need a peace resolution. You're not going to get that just by having some high school bro douche meeting. You're not going to get that by posting on Truth Social. You're going to get that by getting all parties to the table and negotiating a peace deal. And guess what? There's no good guys in this. And I'll keep repeating that because I know that's not a popular sentiment. Because I know we want to live in a comic book reality. But it's the frickin' truth. There are no good guys in this scenario. Trump's not a good guy. The militaries in Ukraine, some of whom are neo-Nazis, they're not good guys. And Putin is not a good guy either. And I know that there's the mental gymnastics on different sides that want to make it sound like one entity is all good. And it happens both ways. There's people who want to make it out like, oh, yeah, no, Zelensky and the militias in Ukraine, they're not being pawns by the United States. They're just total victims. No, they're not. The people of Ukraine are. The people are. Not them. Not the leaders. And the United States is just trying to help. No, the United States has been antagonizing since 2014 and beyond. The United States are not the good guys. Oh, well, then I guess if they're not the good guys, Putin must be the... No, not at all. Not at all. Putin was not justified in the invasion. Putin is a bully. Putin's not a good guy either. But Western propaganda always just wants to give you a good guy and a bad guy. That's what they always want to give you. So you see people fall for Western propaganda. You see some well-intentioned people fall for it. So then you see people have a reaction the other way. You see an overcorrection where you see other people just repeat the propaganda from the other side. They repeat the other side propaganda that makes it out like Putin's just some hero doing the Lord's work. He's not. So don't fall for it. You don't need to pick a frickin' team here. And if you're going to, the team you should pick, peace. That's the team I'm on. I'm on team no war, now or ever. All right. That's a button on the foreign policy talk for the day. By the way, smash the like button. Smash it. Tell your friends. And you know what? I'll say this because I know this is a little complicated. Because today is the economic boycott day. Some people have already asked this. And my take on it is this. Some people say, well, is something like a super chat an exception because you're supporting an independent outlet? Look, that's your choice. That's what I'm going to say. And then that's just my view as an individual, that this doesn't reflect Status Coup as a whole or anything like that. That's your choice to make. If you want to support this show with a super chat, that's awesome. It helps keep us on the air. If you feel like, ooh, well, doesn't that kind of violate the boycott because of the, doesn't that kind of violate the boycott because of the economic day of boycott? I totally get it. This is Google, technically. I get it. So that's your call to make. If you think it's a justified exception, I get where you're coming from. If you don't, I also get where you're coming from. I understand. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you really want to support Status Coup, you know a way you can do it. You can become a member. You can go to statuscoup.com/join and become a member for $5 a month or $10 a month. Call it. Put the thing up. Put the join thing up. Usually, there it is. There it is. Support us as a member, statuscoup.com/join. Know that you're supporting on the ground journalism. You're supporting more trips to East Palestine. You're supporting Tina Desiree Berg was covering the lithium battery. I'll say that 5 times fast. Lithium battery explosion in Northern California. By the way, the corporate media was pretty much silent on that. But we covered it here on Status Coup with a fraction of the fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the resources. So please, please, please support this if you can. We're filling in the gap that the corporate media refuses to fill in because journalism is a public good and people need to realize that. But we don't have that sentiment in the United States. So we need to do it ourselves. Sometimes I really look around me and I'm like, I'm glad that I grew up just kind of a DIY punk rocker because that's all we got now. That's all we got when it comes to culture, to art, to media, to journalism. That's all we freaking got. So please support stuff like this. Please. All right. Let's go to the economic day of boycott since it kind of came up organically. Let's go there next. Let's go to the economic day of boycott. We'll start with the article that Jordan shared, Colin. If you can go ahead and pull that one up from the CNN ski. Today's economic blackout began from an unlikely source, but it's tapped into Americans' anger. They're going to try to downplay this because it's CNN. In early February, John Schroeder, presented an economic blackout. He urged people, Amazon, Walmart, and other major retailers and fast food companies for a day. He called on them to spend money only at small businesses and on essential needs. The system has been designed to exploit us. Source 57 has no background in political organizing. So the economic blackout effort is relatively uncoordinated and nebulous. Experts on consumer boycotts and corporate strategy are dubious that it will make a dent in the bottom line of the massive companies it targets, let alone the vast U.S. economy. Effective boycotts are typically well organized, make clear and specific demands that are focused on one company or issue. So, of course, they're going to downplay it at CNN. So, first of all, of course, the corporate media is going to downplay this. Because the corporate media downplays every single movement and every single effort ever. That's what they do. That's what they're set up to do. Why? Because they're owned by corporate entities. They're owned by the big hedge funds that pretty much control this country. Those are their owners. So, of course, anything grassroots and buying for the people, they're going to marginalize, trivialize, and antagonize. There's a media theorist named Todd Gitlin that laid this out. And it's been the playbook that they've been using since the 60s and probably beyond. So, of course, you're getting this from CNN. But here's another kind of nugget to all this. In a way, they're not 100% wrong. Will this boycott do some big thing in the big scheme of things? Probably not. Probably not. It's probably not going to make some big economic dent. Why? Because only so many people are participating. It's an online thing. It's probably not going to make a big dent in the big scheme of things. Why should we do it anyway? Colin, can we go to my Substack? I wrote a little Substack. It's very short. I want to share it with you guys. I published it today. Yeah. So this is from me. Yes, I'm supporting today's economic boycott, and I hope that you will too. You can go ahead and scroll down, Colin. So real talk. Will the boycott do a whole lot? Probably not. Am I still participating? Definitely. Will it accomplish something? Yes. Will it be ongoing? Hopefully. See, we live in an age where things need to be either 100% or 0%. I have a typo there. I did notice it, but it was already too late. While there is a time and place for this mentality, i.e., war, when it's constantly applied ruthlessly and automatically, often the perfect gets in the way of the good. The truth is, an economic boycott spread online that only so many people will participate in is only going to do so much. But the hope is that it is the start of something way bigger. Perhaps if a small but substantial group makes a dent, that small but substantial group will be larger next time. Also, an economic boycott alone isn't enough. Ideally, the economic boycott would lead to further development of alternative structures in society, alternative structures for food, clothing, shelter, and then going further to entertainment, art, leisure, and logistics. At some point, if they leave us out on our own for education, which by the way is likely, we'll need to figure that out too. Tons of alternative structures via mutual aid, DIY art, and community efforts already exist in the United States, but a mass adoption has not happened yet. Is such a thing possible? Yeah. Is it likely? Tough to say, because for the first time, at least in my lifetime, we've been put into a corner where we have little choice. The infrastructure of the entire country is being leveled, destroyed, replaced with something even worse, and what remains is further out of reach than ever before. Groceries are through the roof. Housing is more and more unattainable. Work is soul-crushing if existent. Education is crumbling. Art and culture, science and medicine, and even curiosity are greeted with disdain and paranoia unless it's within the limited school of thought permitted by the underwhelming appointed philosopher kings, destroying what little is left of this place. So will today's economic boycott mean revolution tomorrow? Of course not. But by God, we've got to start somewhere. That's my take on it. And that's why I am participating. I'm participating for that reason. I'm not buying anything from a major corporation or anything like that. Yeah, like I said, if you feel like a super chat is a valid exception, I support that choice. If you don't, I support that choice as well. And if you're thinking, I really want to support Status Coup today, but I don't want to leave a super chat because of the boycott, today's a great day to become a member. That's the world telling you that today is the right day to become a member. You can do so over at statuscoup.com/join. When you go to statuscoup.com/join for $5 a month or $10 a month, you are supporting on-the-ground firsthand journalism. You're supporting trips all over the country covering what the corporate media refuses to cover. Keep in mind, Status Coup has covered more Palestinian protests than almost any other outlet, definitely more than the corporate media combined. We covered the UAW strike the entire time. We were the only outlet in the world to do such a thing, literally in the world. We've covered East Palestine. We've covered Flint. Jordan Cheriton wrote a book on Flint. We were in Northern California. I don't know anyone else that was up there. So, yeah, we're the proof's in the pudding here. It really is. And I'm proud to be part of it. I'm proud that here at Status Coup, that there is a place for me here. I appreciate that. And I love being with all of you. All right. So let's go to another story, shall we? I think so let's go. This might be a little bit lighter than all the stuff we've had so far today. I know it's been a very foreign policy topic heavy show. And that's pretty heavy because a lot's going on in the world. Let's go to Luigi Mangione, which is not a light topic by any means, but this particular topic might be a little lighter than usual. So Luigi Mangione asked fan to stop sending him so many photos. That's kind of a funny headline. Let's be honest. I mean, that's kind of he is a crazy good looking guy. I mean, you can't, like, dude is freaky good looking. Accused CEO killer. I like how they at least say accused there, because, by the way, we don't know for sure that he did anything. I know I've talked about this before on the show. I'm still not 100% convinced. And I still stand by what I said the very first time. For those of you who remember when this story first broke, when they first caught him in Altoona, my thoughts were this then, and they're still this now. He's either not the guy, or he wanted to get caught. Or, here's another addition, both. He's not the guy, and he wanted to get caught. Now, it's possible that that's not the case. It is possible that he's just very mentally disturbed and he is the guy. But there are just so many things that just smell so freaking fishy. But anyway, let's go on with this. Mangione, 26, has apparently received so many photos while detained at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center that his the defense team addressed them on a website. Luigi appreciates the photos that are sent and kindly asks that people send no more than 5 photos at a time. Please note that every photo that is... Oh, man. This is a wink, wink, nudge, nudge that people are sending nudes. That's what that is. That is a wink, wink, nudge, nudge that people are sending. And you know what? I mean, hey, I don't... If you want to send Luigi Mangione a nude, I can't say, that's your business. That's totally your business. And, I don't know if he appreciates it or not. I'm not him. But I get how, you might want to do such a thing. Every photo that is received, that's what they're telling you. They're like, hey, look, if you're going to send this guy your boobs, just so you know, doesn't go straight to him. Law enforcement's seeing it too. Luigi was wondering why the cops kept bringing him flowers. No, just kidding. Mangione, a Maryland native, is accused of fatally shooting Brian Thompson outside of a Manhattan hotel on December 4th, 2024. He faces charges in federal and New York state court in connection with the murder, along with Pennsylvania charges related to his 5 days on the run. They're going to try to make an example of him. We know that much. In part due to widespread frustration with the American healthcare industry, Mangione has received an outpouring of support from people across the country. At a routine hearing last Friday at Manhattan Supreme Court, dozens of Mangione supporters gathered outside the courtroom. I am overwhelmed by and grateful for everyone who has written me to share their stories and express their support, Mangione said in a message on his homepage. While it is impossible for me to reply to most letters, please know that I read every single one that I receive. All right. So there you go. Know that law enforcement sees whatever picture you send, Luigi. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not, I'm not advocating any kind of behavior. Your business. But I'm just letting everyone, that was what that was code for. That was definitely code for. By the way, just so you know, he's getting some nudes. He is getting some nudes, and just so you know that. All right, so let's go to the Washington Post thing. So, the one and only Jeff Bezos recently made a statement about Washington Post where he basically implied it's going to get even more conservative than it already is. It's going to be all about, I guess, individual liberties and stuff like that. Jordan Chariton did a video on it. Can we let's watch the clip from Jordan first? Because Jordan Chariton did a video on this when it happens. We'll revisit that first, and then we'll give you the update.
I'm writing to let you know about this change coming to our opinion pages. We are going to write every day in support and defense of 2 pillars: personal liberties and free markets. Can you smell the Americana, folks? We'll cover other topics too, of course, but viewpoints opposing those pillars will be left to be published by others. Wait a minute. I thought Republicans were all about, against censorship, against cancel culture. Now, Bezos is only allowing opinions that defend personal liberties and, quote, free markets, which, by the way, isn't a real thing in the United Corporations of America. Our economy's been rigged for decades. Let's continue. There was a time when a newspaper, especially one that was a local monopoly, might have seen it as a service to bring to the reader's doorsteps every morning a broad-based opinion section that sought to cover all views. Today, the internet does that job. I am of America and for America. Oh, God, nauseating. And proud to be so. You got a lot of help from the United States government, I'll tell you that. Our country did not get here by being typical. And a big part of America's success has been freedom in the economic realm and everywhere else. Freedom is ethical. It minimizes coercion and practical. It drives creativity, invention, and prosperity. I offered David Shipley, whom I greatly admire, the opportunity to lead this new chapter. That David Shipley was the editor of their opinion page to date. I suggested to him that if his answer wasn't hell yes, then it had to be a no. After careful consideration, David decided to step away. I guess even for Mr. Shipley, fetishizing personal liberties and Jeff Bezos' twisted, demented version of a free market was a step too far. So David decided to step away. This is a significant shift. It won't be easy, blah, blah, blah. I'm confident that free markets and personal liberties are right for America. I also believe these viewpoints are underserved in the current market of ideas and news opinions. I'm excited for us together to fill that void.
What a note. What a note. So that's a video Jordan Chariton did about this. So here is a quick update to this. So just keep all that in your brain. Everything Jordan just read and that statement that Jeff Bezos made. Here's something that he did. Let's go to the media piece, Colin. Trump had dinner with Jeff Bezos hours after he announced the controversial changes to the Washington Post opinion section. It's almost like that was conversation fodder for them. It's almost like he goes, "Oh, I better do this because I'm going to be eating dinner with Trump." So President Donald Trump enjoyed dinner with Jeff Bezos on the same day Bezos announced changes to the opinion section of the Washington Post. Oh, man. Because it's a big club. It's a big, big club. And you're not in it. And by the way, our media is already, I mean, we already have a very right-wing media. Like our media is not, I mean, when people talk about the quote liberal media, our media is not even quote liberal. Like it's straight up conservative and right-wing and far right in most cases. And MSNBC is getting further right, and Washington Post is getting even further right. And it's all because, like, that's the direction the political pulse of this place is going at the top. So they're going to follow it. They're going to follow that. So, and also they know, I mean, look, MSNBC, they know the average age of an MSNBC viewer is 72 years old. And older people generally, I always have to say generally because I inevitably get an email from someone like, "Ron, I am very progressive and I am in my..." I know. Generally, older people tend to be a bit more conservative. That doesn't mean every older person, just generally speaking, someone in that age range tends to be more conservative in the United States. So that's what they're doing. Jeff Bezos, he had his dinner with Donald Trump. Now, by the way, we told you here at Status Coup why big tech is kissing Donald Trump's ass so hard. And some of you may remember, because I covered the TikTok ban pretty extensively here on Status Coup. What the TikTok ban does, and what it still did, even though Trump, reversed the ban of TikTok, what that policy did was it gave Trump or whoever's president pretty much unlimited power to just nix any type of foreign app that they don't like. So Donald Trump has that newfound powers. So all of the domestic folks, they are really kissing his ass because he pretty much, I mean, first of all, he's the president, so they're just going to kiss up to him. But second of all, he also has this newfound power. So so that's why Jeff Bezos is lining up for him. Elon Musk is obviously his buddy. Elon Musk is pretty much the unelected president. I mean, hell, at least people voted for Donald Trump. Elon Musk didn't even get votes. Man, that's amazing. It's amazing. So that's what's really going on. So now Jeff Bezos is altering the Washington Post accordingly because he really wants Trump. He really wants Trump to do what he wants. That's what he wants. All right. So, guys, before we go to the chat, which we're going to go to next, I will make a couple quick announcements. First of all, my movie Left at Wall is out now. My movie is out now. And I'll tell you what, in honor of the boycott, watch it tomorrow. Watch it tomorrow. You can get my movie on Apple TV. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on YouTube. You can get it on Google Play, or you can buy it on DVD. It's called Left at Wall. But you know what? You don't have to rent it today. If you can't rent it today without violating the boycott, rent it tomorrow. But it's called Left at Wall, and it is out now. And check it out. Check it out. I'm very, very proud of the movie. I know some of you have watched it already. You've been emailing me. I appreciate that so much. It's if you like quirky indie comedies that are anti-capitalist, you'll like this movie. You will like this movie. All right. Well, let's go to the super chat, Colin. Let's go to the super chat and talk to everybody. And by the way, maybe today's the day that you join Status Coup, because there you go. Anue Blue gifted a membership. Thank you so much for that, Anue. Thank you very much. I'm probably mispronouncing that, and I apologize for that. Presence, what's up? How are you? Progressives can take a lesson from Trump. Verbal tactics. We need to be strong, direct, fearless, but right. Vance is a wormy slime ball. Yeah, Vance is a wormy slime ball. As far as Trump, I don't know. Was he really strong, direct, and fearless? Yeah, he yelled at somebody. That's nice. He yelled at him. But, I mean, he's going to go ahead and make a tweet. Oh, I want peace. I want peace. But then he's not going to directly take the steps to have peace. I don't know. I mean, a Truth Social post is pretty cheap. Doesn't really mean anything. If Trump's serious about peace, he can make that happen. But it's not. Peace isn't going to come from a shouting match at a press conference with Zelensky. It's not going to happen. So, we'll see. I think the real fearless, direct thing to do would be to actually get those entities in a room and broker a true peace deal and broker a true ceasefire. And, yeah, the United States has the power to do that. Biden could have done that. He had no interest. Trump says he wants that. He says he wants peace. Guess we'll see. CB, what's going on? How are you? Not going to war with Russia during the Cold War through today. Assisting North and South Korea with diplomacy to not start a new war. I think that's diplomatic. Okay, so I guess you kind of picked out a couple examples of when the United States wasn't the biggest criminal on the world stage. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. There have been some times where that has happened. How about all the other times? How about all the regime changes that we've done? How about all the stuff we've done to Iran since 1953? How about Iraq? How about Vietnam? How about all the stuff we have done in Cuba? How about the stuff we have done in South America? How about the fact that we create climate refugees around the world through our disastrous foreign policies because we just install leaders we like when they're getting to a little thing called socialism? So I see what you're saying. Yeah, there's been a few exceptions to the rules. Yeah, not going to war with Russia during the Cold War. Okay. Assisting North and South Korea with diplomacy to not start a new war. Okay. Yeah. How about all those other things that I listed? Who has a longer list, by the way? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I appreciate your thoughts. I get it. But, to imply that this is going back to the statement JD Vance made. JD Vance said, we exert our strength through peace and we spread peace and diplomacy, and we spread peace and diplomacy. That's what the United States does. I think that statement is obnoxiously false. And I just gave a bunch of examples why. You came up with 2 exceptions. Kudos. That's 2 exceptions in a long, 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 long sea of endless war and countless deaths and millions of innocent people dead. We're bombing 9 countries most of the time. Most of the time we are dropping bombs in 9 countries. So, yeah, have there been some exceptions? Sure. But was JD Vance's statement absolutely freaking ridiculous in the big scheme of things? Absolutely. But thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate your comment. All right, let's go. Let's keep going. CB, you are back. I can't tell if you're pandering to the comment section or you're just being biased. What war has Trump started? I never said Trump started a war. I did not say that. I said that Trump. First of all, let's back up a little bit. I'm sorry that in your life you feel the need to open up a comment with a condescending insult for no frickin' reason. But to address that, I don't look at the comments when I'm doing this. It would be too distracting for me. I have ADHD. I literally do not look at the comments because if I did, I'd be all over the place. I occasionally notice a few of them because the way this software works is there's like a common sidebar. So I can kind of glance over and see a few. They don't load in real time, but they kind of load randomly, and I can't really look away from them. They're just kind of there as how the layout works. So I can occasionally glance over, but I really don't very often, except for at the very beginning when I'm greeting people. So when you heard me kind of greeting people, that's when I was looking at the comments. The other time I do it is now. So the answer to your point is no, I was not pandering to the comment section. Or if I'm just being biased, what war has Trump started? Never said he started a war. I said that he dropped a ton of bombs in his 4 years, and he did. He did. He dropped more than Obama did in 4 years. In Obama's first 4 years. So Trump dropped a ton of bombs. He was called presidential when he bombed Syria. That was when he was called presidential. And he was instigating Iran. And he probably would have had that war with Iran if it wasn't for the pandemic. That was what I said. And I don't know why you had to insult me over that. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you like Trump and you don't like somebody pointing out that Trump's not good on foreign policy because he isn't. But yeah, I don't know why you had to open with an insult there. But thank you for your support. I appreciate it very much. What's up, Chris? Good to see you. I support today's economic boycott, but I also support independent journalism like Status Coup, speaking truth to power. Thank you for that, Chris Garrett. Appreciate you. And yeah, I get it. Totally get it. But yeah, and support the boycott today, y'all. I really. Oh, Zaydab, how are you? Zaydab Day, amazing journalist and amazing show host. She hosted earlier this week, I'm pretty sure. I got to watch her a little bit here. We are already in a 1980s dystopian film. Also great to see you, Ron. Thank you, Zaynab. It was great to see you. I got to catch some of you and Lila the other day. I didn't get to catch a lot of it, but I did get to catch a little. And those are two amazing people, by the way. Lila Lay and Zaynab Day, two incredible people. Lila is in my movie, by the way. Left at Wall. Lila's in the movie. So yeah. All right, let's keep going, Colin. Zaydab, you're back. I'll be covering this soon, but people need to look into Curtis. I'm not familiar with this. Okay, I'll be covering this soon, but people need to look into Curtis Yarvin and the techno monarchy. It'll explain a lot. Interesting. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, we are in a weird techno feudalist time, and I look forward to your coverage, Zaynab. I look forward to learning more about this. Yeah, it's exciting. Let's see. What's up, CB? You can only fit 150 characters in Super Chat, so your list will always be longer. I'm not saying the military industrial complex does not exist. Okay, then what are you saying? I mean, you gave two examples. You could have given the list I gave. I could have done it in a few characters. Not pandering in real time, but to a demographic. I am not a Trump supporter. Also, not meant as a personal insult. I don't see how anyone would have taken it as anything other than. I appreciate you saying that. And it happens, but I don't see how that wasn't meant as an insult. With all due respect, I appreciate you saying that. But I mean, why would you? Well, I don't know if you're just trying to pander, or I mean, implying somebody's pandering is an insult to any person doing this type of thing. Like that's an insulting thing to say. Like that'd be like, oh, I don't know if you're just trying to lick someone's boots. Like what? I don't know if you're just trying to, I don't know if you're just, I mean, that's like saying like, I don't know if you just didn't read something. You know what I mean? Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. And yeah, by all means, if you think JD Vance's statement, again, this goes back to JD Vance's statement. If you think that is a true statement that the United States uses their powers for diplomacy around the world, you think that is a fair statement to make, given the war and carnage we have spread around the world, especially post-World War II, what we have done around the world, the regime change. Go read Inside Iran by Medea Benjamin. Look at what we've done to Iran since the 50s. Look at what we've done to places like Cuba. I mean, I'm not going to go through the list again. But, I mean, you look at what we've done. Read about what Henry Kissinger has pulled off in his life. You factor all that in, and you think that statement is a reasonable statement to make. I don't know what to tell you. So, if you could find a few exceptions to the rule and put them in the super chat, all power to you. That's fine, and you're not wrong. But, yeah, I think that statement's freaking ridiculous, and that's what this all boils down to. All right, so let's keep going with the super chat.
That was all of them.
That was all of them. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all so much for being here today. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you everybody who did a super chat today. And thank you everyone for participating. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it very, very much. Yeah. What else? Sign up to be a member. Seriously, sign up to be a member. What we're doing here is important work. We're doing it. And Status Coup is one of the only outlets that is doing on-the-ground journalism, that is doing firsthand journalism at the level we're doing it. So please do become a member. My movie is called Left at Wall. Please do check it out. And if you don't need to check it out tonight. I know the boycott's going on, but check it out soon. You can get it on Apple TV. You can get it on YouTube Movies. You can get it on Amazon if you need to. There's a lot of other places. You can get it on Google Play. You can get it on Xbox. You can get it on cable on demand. Basically, type it into your smart TV. It'll come up. And if you don't even want to leave YouTube, you can get it right here on YouTube. So you can get my movie Left at Wall right here on YouTube. You can just type it in. It comes up. I'll put a link in the chat. And yeah, thank you all very much for being part of this. Thank you for supporting Status Coup. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And this is Ron Placone for Status Coup signing out.